We're down here in the flatlands today, not up in the mountains, doing I guess a little bit of foraging. I did some foraging a couple weeks ago though for all my main stuff. I just want to show a couple plants and trees here. Here we got some walnuts. You know, these things are, you can take these from the tree, you know, before they hit the ground and start rotting, and you can peel the hulls off and dry them out, and or even just I think you could just throw them right in alcohol to make tinctures. And they're good for dental stuff, you know, good for your teeth, good for infections. They use these back in the day for making dye and ink. You know, if you let them sit around in water, they'll turn the water black, or brown, I should say. You can eat them too. You crack them open. Right here, got plenty of this. This grows all over the place. Plantain. And I got the big old veins in it. There's a narrow leaf plantain. I don't know if I can find any right here right this second though. But there's another kind that has like little, kind of like stalks like these, just smaller. When they sprout out, when you see the wee little ones, that would be the narrow leaf plantain. It'd just be narrow. But you could technically eat this stuff. You know, I'll just take a bite at it, just to show you. But you can crush this stuff up, and I've done this while out hiking. You can crush this stuff up, rub it on wounds or bug bites. It'll help calm it down. You know, make it, take away the itch and the pain some. Oh, here we go. These little things, what I'm talking about for the narrow leaf. See right here's a narrow leaf plantain. But they got the same thing. They got the veins and stuff. You can make a tea out of this stuff too. You can take a bath in this stuff to help you out. And even though I showed this before a long time ago, I got all kinds of videos on foraging and stuff. But see there, I got it written in my book. And there's the narrow leaf. And here, this is goldenrod, which it is coming in some. That's before it's flowering. You see it there. There's different versions of it with different kind of leaves, but it grows in patches along fields and stuff. This stuff's good for urinary tract infections. It's a diuretic. Make a tea out of the, you can use the leaves. I mostly like to use the flower tops once they bloom. I have to find one that's actually blooming. When you make a tea out of this stuff, it's kind of like, it's not like soda, but it's bubbly for some reason. I don't know what this stuff, I don't know if it's from bugs or not. You know, I wouldn't pick this one. But that's before it starts to flower. It's good stuff. Here's a teasel plant, but it's already past its prime. It's not really that hard yet, but they used this back in the old days. It's called teasel because you could tease wool with this stuff when the stuff gets hard. But you can dig this up take the roots, peel it, and put it in alcohol for a tincture. And it's good for Lyme disease. You know, I got Lyme disease and I'm taking a tincture now that works better than any modern medicine. Because I'm not normally one to go to doctors, but I did go to the doctors because I didn't know what was wrong with me at the time because my knee was swelling up. And I was just dealing with it. Fucking lost muscle mass in my damn leg. But they told me what was wrong, and I took their shit, and it came back again. So I went to the Amish, which I cheated. I didn't get my own. I normally would, but I got a tincture from them. It has teasel and mint in it, and it brought it down on its own, and I haven't had any problems since. You know, and it's way cheaper than going to a damn doctor multiple, because, you know, the doctors don't want to fix you. They want to keep the problems coming back. You know, if they fix you, then they're going to lose money. Yeah, this stuff's good. I thought about trying to get some myself. Eventually I'll try. And see, we got more, even though it's not ready yet. We got some more goldenrod here, which I was using that too to try to keep the swelling down. Because it is kind of like a anti-inflammatory too. I don't know if this stuff's goldenrod or not either. I don't know what this is, because there's different versions of goldenrod. It looks like it, but it has different yellow flag. But it could be. I think it is. It's just a different version of it. But don't take my word fully for it, because I definitely made tea out of these versions of it, but not that version. I'm pretty sure it is. There's a couple different versions of it. This here is a Queen's Anne lace. This one's actually mature and has they get a little flower there in the center to attract bugs. Now this stuff's mostly good for women and stuff, for menstrual problems and stuff like that. You know, things I don't really know about. So I don't really use this plant, but technically it's a wild carrot. You dig up this root, which, hey, maybe we'll pull it out here. Oh shoot, broke off. I broke it. But it's a wild carrot. It's at least related to a carrot. Here we got some daisies. I am in a field. This really ain't the greatest place, but I can find this stuff up in the mountains too, along the trails and stuff, for a quick little snack. And this is good. You can make tea out of this. This is good for colds. A lot of plants are good for colds and stuff. But you can eat the petals. And I snack on that sometimes when up in the mountains if you get hungry. It'll fight hunger a little bit. Better than nothing. The only problem is just being in a field that I think of is just spray materials and stuff like that. See, we got some more plantain here, which that grows all up in the mountains too. You can use the roots of the daisy too. It'll be good for you. Get more medicine out of that. And here's some chicory. Which, to be honest with you, I never used this stuff, but apparently this is like a coffee substitute. Like, it don't have caffeine in it or nothing. I don't know if you gotta dig up the roots and roast the roots. I guess you could just use the plant too. But it's definitely chicory. It grows all along the roads and along people's properties and stuff. Really, a lot of the good plants always like to grow in crappy areas where it has the possibility of getting carcinogens and spray materials on it. And here's a bunch of mullein, which I already picked a bunch of mullein a couple weeks ago up in the mountains. I know patches that are far away from human activity and stuff. But I use this for bronchitis and sickness. And you can pick this and dry it out and smoke it. It's good. It'll get rid of it. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but when you smoke it, it'll get rid of your cough. You know, it's better than an inhaler. You know, I don't use that shit. I use this. This is what the Indians would have used. They called this big leaf tobacco. And this is the first year rosettes. So this is like kind of what you would want when picking it, even though you can pick the second year. The good thing about the first year is you can get the roots. They'll have big, long tap roots because they haven't sprouted out their stock yet. Like these over here. See, here's the second year. They get yellow flowers and stuff up here. But you could still pick the leaves off of that stuff. Like I say, you make a tea out of it. It's good for sickness, bronchitis. With these real big leaves, the Indians, used to use these like for soles in their shoes. Well, I guess moccasins, but I've used this stuff. You can peel this stuff off and wrap it around your feet or around a wound for gauze. You can wipe your ass with it because it's nice and fluffy. They do call it cowboy toilet paper, which I wouldn't really waste it for that. There's other things you can use like ferns and moss and grass if you can find it. Here's pokeweed. Now up north, you know, I'm not really exactly sure about this, but up north apparently this stuff's poisonous. It'll make you sick. But down south they say, I guess the soil's different and they say it's good for you. Well, I guess you can eat it in like small amounts, I don't know. But I wouldn't trust it at all. Like, just because you eat one, it ain't gonna kill you. I ain't gonna eat one, but this stuff's, they call it like ink bear. I've tried to make ink out of this before. I don't know if I did it right or not. I just smashed it up and put it in some water. And it worked. I even used a quill pen. I made one out of a feather. But after a while, it turns into invisible ink because it'll show up on paper, but then after a while, it'll just disappear. So I don't know what's up with that. I tried. I'm not exactly sure about that over there. That might be jewelweed. I don't know. Don't take my word for that. I'm not exactly sure. I think jewelweed's good for like bug bites and stuff like that too. And here we go. Here's some goldenrod with the tops flowering. Gonna pick some of this and use it. I say I don't like to pick this along a road, but this is a nice little patch here. A little ways away. Anyway. I know some places up in the mountains to get this, but it don't grow in big patches up in the mountains. And like I said, this stuff's a diuretic. It's good for urinary tract infections and probably some other infections and inflammation. They use it over in Europe. And real quick, I was right about this because a friend of mine sent me a picture of this stuff a while back, and I went through my messages and looked at it. This is jewelweed. It's good for poison ivy, like anything itchy. So maybe I'll pick some of this for someone else that I know that has some poison ivy problems right now. Probably just like with plantain and stuff like that, you could just probably just smash it up and rub it on you. That's cool to know. I didn't know that. I got the picture in my thing. I had to post it up along with this. Here's a mimosa tree. I think that's what it's called. You might see these around your neighborhood. They smell good. But this tree here, you can take these flowers. I guess you could, I don't know about the leaves and maybe possibly the inner bark. But all I know, because I've used these before, you can make a tea out of these. And it's good for depression and burns. You know, with a lot of wild plants, when you make a tea, you know, just because you make a tea doesn't mean it's only good for drinking. You can dip your bandages in the tea and wrap your wounds in that to help heal things. They say this is very good for burns. And it'll boost your mood.